Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Greg again for another what's on my timeline. All right. So we're gonna get into some of my tweets or most of my tweets that I did on Christmas Day. It was a kind of a cool Christmas day, just kind of just chilled on my own. Didn't really do much, just watched a little basketball and everything. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right. So this first tweet is a little interesting. It's from this guy named DC Moore, and it talks about his experience in talking about the gospel to his parents. So he tweets out, "Just got kicked out of my folks' house for evangelizing them and calling them to repent and turn to Christ. This is maybe the fourth or fifth time this has happened, but the first that occurred on Christmas. Pray for their repentance. Pray for the faithful and strategic witness." Look, man, as Christians, we are definitely supposed to spread the gospel, uh, and that includes the people that are close to us. So I can do nothing but really just give this man his props and just, you know, say he's being faithful. I feel like he's doing what God has called him to do. Hopefully, he's not doing it in a bad manner where he's coming off too rough. But regardless of how he's doing it, he's letting his parents know that they need Jesus, and that's the truth. And he's obviously willing to sacrifice a close relationship with his parents, which is big, man. I mean, you don't see that in a lot of people. Thankfully, I've never been in that position because my parents are already Christians. But um, that's something that you know obviously needs to happen. Usually with me, I try to talk to everybody about it at least one time, and if I see like an opening, I try to go for it and see. But some people are more aggressive, and that's good. I mean, that's that's how John the Baptist was. He didn't really care. He was just like, yo, you got to know Jesus. Just go hardcore. Some people are more strategic with it, regardless of how you do it. God wants to see you obviously spread His gospel, and I just want to say that this guy's doing what he's supposed to do. Right? He might get a little flack from it, but obviously he's showing his love for his parents. We believe that only the believers are going to heaven. So if you're not believing, they're going to go to hell. And obviously nobody wants their close parents or close friends to go to hell. So that's why we do what we do. So good for him. I hope his parents do get saved. That is going to be something that I will be personally praying about. And I just thank you for brothers like him that inspire me to be brave and bold towards non-believers. And I just thank you for him. Shout out to DC Moore at Skippy underscore DCM. Again, it'll be under my profile if you want to scroll down until you see it. All right. Next tweet is from Matt Gates, who is pointing out that the main accuser uh, is in prison for falsely accusing somebody else for similar stuff that he's being accused of. The media don't care about this, man. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I hope he kind of gets out of this whole situation. I don't believe he knowingly slept with a 17-year-old. I don't even know if he even slept with that girl. But I definitely don't think he sexually trafficked anybody. You can say that he's got some quirkiness to him, but to take it this far, no, I don't believe that. So hopefully he gets out of it, see what happens, and I'm praying for him too. Uh, so I retweeted this thing called Learn English Idioms, and it's just basically like just talking about popular English phrases that people say sometimes when they want to be creative in their speaking. So just like example would be like a blessing in disguise. Something that people didn't realize was something good in their life, but it ended up being good, or a dime a dozen. It's just something that's just very common and not really too valuable. Like a leper can't change his spots, and people can't change. Just sometimes people are who they are. I don't really believe that. Some people can change. I just brought up a man who is evangelizing to his parents, so people definitely can change. But that's just an expression that people use. Actions speak louder than words and stuff like that. It's good to kind of know these type of different ways to kind of express yourself in the English language. So I just posted about that. Next tweet. So a Miami corner named a corner from the University of Miami, Robert Stafford, who I was high on, looked like he was pretty athletic and was a kind of a ball hawk. He is going to the he is going to he is transferring to UCLA. So far, I'm not complaining too much about what has happened in the transfer portal for Miami. We did lose. We did lose Isaiah Horton to Alabama, who was a really good receiver for us. So that I'm not too happy about. Um, but other than that, everybody that we lost, including Mr. Stafford, I feel like we can replace, or somebody under them can do better. I would have liked to kept Stafford. I don't like to see anybody really transfer out, but hopefully he does well at UCLA, and we'll see what happens, man. Good luck to him. Uh, uh, just another scripture here in the Genesis 1:1, the first words of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And that is simple truth. Unfortunately, there's people who believe that God did not create the heaven and the earth. Uh, some people believe somehow that we had a big bang and somehow that created the heaven and the earth. I'll go with God created the heaven and the earth, and that is very important because you know we if you don't have that foundation, that even if you're not a Christian, that there is a God and there's an all powerful God that can do powerful things like create things that were not there, then you're just your whole mindset is just going to be skewed of like different stuff. Because I mean, if you don't believe in God, then who's to say what standard are we living by? A good thing about Christians is that you can always our standard is the Bible. You can always go there and see what we believe. It's not going to change. It's always going to be there. But if you don't believe in God, your morals can be one thing one day and something the next, because you don't have a real standard of living. One day murder can be wrong, and then one day murder could be okay, depending on how you want to do it. Instead of just saying that murder is wrong, period. You know, the only time murder is justified as far as scripture is concerned is in self-defense, but that's not really considered murder. Murder is like a premeditated act of wanting to kill somebody, whatever. Like if you are attacked, you're not expecting to get attacked. You're just defending yourself, and if you're in the middle of a fight, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, and you know sometimes that ends up with somebody dying. That's not something that should be considered a crime because you got attacked. So it's just stuff like that that just makes not believing in God just very dangerous and everything like that, because you can just believe whatever you want. You can think that, oh, I can do what I want to do and nobody's going to judge me. And at the end of the day, somebody is going to judge all of us, and that's God. So hopefully more people understand that simple truth that God did create the heaven and the earth. And if not, um, they're in trouble. We just pray for all the unbelievers that they will know that the Bible is the truth and that Jesus Christ is God. And I hope one day they will understand that. The next tweet I made was I retweeted something from Tommy Sotomayor, and he's speaking on Travis Hunter, the whole Travis Hunter situation, where he's with this girl, and his girl is not really respecting him. And basically, Tommy is saying in this clip that he had to change his mentality because he was treating women better than what they saw themselves. He would treat them like a queen or somebody who was a wife potential, but the people that he was doing this with didn't even see themselves as that. They kept acting crazy, they kept acting loose and all the other stuff. So basically he decided, hey, if that's how they're gonna act, then that's pretty much how I'm gonna treat them. And I basically responded saying, look, man, I can't really go there, but the way some of these women have been treating me, I feel like it's like, man, I might get to that point at some point. But what is helping me not get to that point and trying to basically kind of see the best in people is my faith and just knowing that God doesn't want that type of single bachelor life for me. He does. He either wants a single life where I stay abstinent, which is very hard to do, or he wants me to get married. So if I'm gonna look for a wife, then I have to try to see the best in people and look for those type of women. Um, but I totally understand where he's coming from and why he feels the way he feels, and because it's tough out here with some of these women, and they just always kind of got their hand out. They work and they expect you to pay for everything, and then they want you to be the man, but they don't want to follow you. So I totally understand where he's coming from and the many frustrations of dealing with the modern American woman. It's tough out here. It's so easy to divorce. They get bored or they get tired of the marriage, and it's just like they just want to divorce you, and they take all your money or half your money or whatever. Take take alimony and take child support. It's it's just a situation where it's just not really. Um, it's hard to justify getting married right now. Like, I mean, it really is, because I mean, if I knew that Christian women understood why God says don't divorce, then I would see it more. But the Christian women that I talk to, or the women that say they believe in God, they seem like they have no issue getting divorced. They're like, oh, even like I just don't, and I don't understand it, because it's just like, there's vows that you take for richer, for poor, for better, for worse, through sickness and health. I mean, if you don't mean those things, why are you getting married? For worse is when the situation gets worse. Like, I thought it was good, but it got worse. Whether it's he's hitting on me, he's cheating on me, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, or whatever. Okay, that's still your husband. If you do bad stuff to me, you're still my wife, and I have to hang in there in the marriage. Whatever happens, we go through it together and we make the best of what it is. But women don't see it that way. Or sometimes even men don't see it that way. I don't want to just pick on the women, but I don't date men. I date women, so I focus on women's mentality, and so that's why I'm saying, like, it's tough out here to just kind of defend that type of thing. So, but for me, one thing I know I need to do is in my future relationships, I just need to be more stern and be more. I have to have more boundaries and treat myself with a little bit more respect and expect more respect from women because I really, for the longest, I feel like I've kind of let them kind of run over me. I mean, but I'm 40 years old now. I'm just not going to tolerate that type of stuff anymore. It's not going to happen. You know, when we first meet, I have to see that you're really into me, just like I always show that I'm into them. And if they're not, I'm just walking away, man. Because I mean, for the most part, it's just been one disaster after another, and I'm just kind of done with it. You know, it's always hitting me in the pockets, or it's just making me feel bad, or whatever. And if a woman's not into me, I'm just gonna be like, yo, you're not into me. Let's just be friends. You don't got to be all emotional about it. Just walk away. Simple as that. All right, the next tweet. So there's this. So I guess these OnlyFans models are getting popular, but so we talked about the woman Lily Phillips who wanted to sleep with 1,000 men and already slept with 100 men in 24 hours. So there's this other woman on OnlyFans. Her name is Bonnie Blue, and she is on OnlyFans as well. And apparently, she's been trying to sleep with like barely legal 18-year-olds or whatever. And it says that this says here that she got deported from Australia because of some of the videos that she was doing, which is interesting. I mean, and I made a comment is like only America is where we like tolerate depravity. Or I didn't even say that. I gotta actually fix that. That's not. I didn't edit that properly. But I mean, we just don't care. It's just like these OnlyFans models are making. Uh, they are making NBA money. They're making more than NBA money. Like there's more money going into OnlyFans now than the NBA, and it's kind of crazy. So I don't know, man. She may get got deported from Australia, but I'm sure she's accepted in Europe and America. So I don't know if it really is that big of a deal to her. So anyway, hopefully she gets out that OnlyFans business before something bad happens. But it seems like she's enjoying it. She's promoting it. She's really not sorry for what she's doing. So hey, all you can do is pray for people like that and see what happens. Uh, so there was this picture that I retweeted of Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and shout out to my friend Ben. I think he's my friend. We haven't talked in a while, but I saw he commented on my YouTube, so thank you for that. And we were debating about Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. Um, he likes Shador. I like Cam for the Giants. But another debate that we had a long time ago was Scoot Henderson versus Brandon Miller. He liked Scoot because of his athletic upside, and I was more into Brandon Miller. Um, I don't know how he feels about it, but I would like to think that maybe I'm winning that one because Brandon Miller seems like he's having a better NBA career than Scoot Henderson. Scoot's still coming off the bench for Portland. Brandon Miller is, he's a pretty good player for a bad team. So, not saying that he's a star or anything, but he looks like he's kind of a little bit ahead of in his career than Scoot is in his career. So, um, but this little picture here is saying that it was one time a debate between Scoot Henderson and Wemby, and I'm like, no, nobody thought that Scoot was gonna go number one over. At least I don't know anybody that thought that. I mean, Wemby's a freak, man. 7'5". I mean, he takes too many threes for me. He took 16 threes today against the Knicks. Still had 42 points and 18 rebounds and 4 blocks. But man, he is just a matchup nightmare. He's 5 inches taller than Carl Towns, or 4 or 5 inches taller than Carl Towns, and he's like just a problem, dude. Like, so I just wish, like I said, he would just kind of go to the basket a little bit more, dominate in the paint area. But look, I guess the Spurs are okay with him hanging out at the 3 point line, like he's like some taller Kevin Durant. But you know, I don't think that he should be out there as much as he is. I mean, he's literally the tallest guy every night, pretty much. So, but ultimately, it was probably a pretty good day for the NBA. The Spurs Knicks game was a good game. Minnesota Dallas was a okay. I mean, Minnesota kind of took them out early. It ended up being a closer game than what it probably was. Um, Sixers had a good victory against the Celtics. Sixers look good now. Um, they're 11-17, but they'll probably be in the playoffs. They're too good to not be in the playoffs. They're like on the borderline of the play-in. So regardless if they're in the play-in or they make the top six, they'll probably be in the playoffs. I can't see them not being in the playoffs. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. They didn't even have Jared McCain, who looks like he might be the best rookie or one of the best rookies uh, this year. So they look good. The Warriors Lakers game was very good. Steph Curry had a monster fourth quarter. Austin Reeves hits a game winner. It's a good game. I mean, I'm not a big Steph or LeBron fan, but Steph was really good today. Um, I'm really just tired of this whole Steph LeBron thing. I'm just glad it's almost over. So, but you can't argue with what Steph did tonight. He was a monster tonight. So, and the last game was the Suns versus the Nuggets. Man, I love Jokic, man, but the energy for that Nuggets team looks bad. The Suns played hard. There was no Devin Booker. They really smacked them good. Uh, there's something wrong with that team. They need to change something, or maybe it's just not their year. But they don't look like they're gonna win the championship this year. So looks like they'll just I don't know, be a fifth or sixth seed or something, get knocked out in the first round. But because their defense isn't good enough, their energy isn't good enough. Uh, they gotta find something. But it's early in the season, so maybe they'll look a little different. But that's pretty much a breakdown of the NBA today. Uh, Shador. Oh yes. Some guy was promoting Shador going to the Giants again. I am all in on Cam Ward. I saw him up close and personal as a Miami fan. I think he's going to be a star in the league. I am pretty sure that if he doesn't go to the Giants, he will definitely go to Tennessee, and Tennessee will turn that franchise around and win that conference, win that division every year. I'm sorry. I just think, look, I got no issue with Shador's talent. I think he's a good player. I love that he's a pass first quarterback. He's definitely a polished quarterback. So I don't really got too many complaints about his actual game. What I will say is that as a leader, as a teammate, it seems like he's just a lot about self promotion, flashing that watch. When his last year, when his offensive line was not that good, he made sure the world knew that that offensive line wasn't that good. You know, when Cam Ward had a bad offensive line at Washington State, he wasn't talking down on his O line like that. I just think that Cam Ward is just a more mature person, more mature, ready for the pressures of the NFL. You know, he won't have Dion basically chirping in the background when every single time things don't go the way he wants it to go. I just think that if you want to be a more serious NFL program with a young quarterback, you go with Cam. And after that, why you roll the dice on Shador. But there's somebody that is pretty much as good, if not better than Shador. So you take that guy without all the drama. He's had some game winners this year. He's clutch. He's accurate. He's got a good arm. It's a no brainer to me, dude. Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this draft, and I really hope the Giants see that. We'll see what happens, man. Um, what else? Oh yeah, that was so there was another tweet about Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey had a really good game. Uh, like I said, he is a fantastic player. I love watching Tyrese play. I always said when he was at Kentucky, for all these people who wanted to like kind of get um, Kentucky out of, Calipari out of Kentucky. That 2020 team with Emmanuel Quickly and Tyrese Maxey, I think that was a Final Four team at least. They were good, and they never really got a chance to show because that was the year that we had COVID and the tournament was canceled. But I think if Cal would have had a chance to really play with that team, maybe things would have been a little different. They would have got to a Final Four and they would have kind of backed off a little bit. But seems like Kentucky fans are happy with Mark Pope, and Arkansas's been okay. I thought they'd be a little bit better than they are. They did beat Michigan, so maybe they're getting a little bit better. But they've been okay. They're a top 20 team. Uh, we'll see how they do in the SEC once conference play starts and everything. But so far they've been okay. They've lost some games, but they beat Michigan, so that was a good win for them. And we'll see how the season progresses. But as far as how Tyrese Maxey's doing in the pros, great guard. Love to watch Maxey. Big Maxey fan here, so we'll see how it goes. He did turn the ball over a little bit at the end. Got to clean that up a little bit, but nah, great player. Hope the Sixers make the playoffs so I can watch what he does. Um, I got a New York Post article here about Trump's assassin and his trial being delayed until September. So let me see if I can find some interesting nuggets here. So Ryan Wesley Roof, the man accused attempting to assassinate Trump at his Florida golf course. He won't stand trial. Oh wow, they're backing off his trial till September 2025. So that's like a long time. So it is December 2024. So that's like 9 months. His trial was supposed to be February 10th, 2025. He has pleaded not guilty. The delay was requested by the alleged would-be assassin's lawyers, who argued that they needed more time to assess the evidence against Roth as they weighed. You need 7 months. 7 months is a long time. He's a native of Hawaii, owns 17 cell phones and several other electronic devices, the contents of which the defense lawyer hopes to review. Okay, so he owns 17 cell phones. I guess that is a lot. His legal team also has been given hundreds of hours of police body camera footage, surveillance videos to be poured over. Okay. So they need time to kind of just go over everything. If convicted, the charge of attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate is life in prison. He also faces charges relating to assaulting a federal officer and firearms violation. They said that prosecutors said he was plotting to assassinate Trump before he traveled to West Palm Beach. He hid in the bushes outside of Trump's international golf course, rifle in hand. As the president-elect played around the golf Ruff was spotted by a Secret Service agent who opened fire on him but missed every shot. I don't know how that happened. According to a House Assassination Task Force, Ralph dropped his rifle after being shot at and fled the scene unharmed. He was apprehended by local law enforcement on the Florida interstate about 40 minutes later. The assassination attempt came 2 months after Trump was hit in the air by a sniper bullet in Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so well, we'll see what happens, man. I guess I'll be sitting in the jail cell for like 9 months. It's crazy. Uh, Another tweet that I made was that how in America they just add a bunch of bad ingredients to all the stuff that we eat compared to like Europe. So now that Trump's in office, he's working with RFK. Hopefully, they get some sort of resolution passed where they can kind of ban some of these ingredients out of these everyday foods we eat, like Taco Bell, Doritos, Wendy's, all the stuff that they're putting in regular food that we're really not aware of. Uh, so, like I said, hopefully RFK takes care of that. Um, so, my next tweet is comparing the MVP candidates, and there's this big debate between who should be MVP between Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and even Saquon Barkley. Uh, Look, Lamar Jackson been playing really good this year. Like, if you know me, I've been complaining about his ability to be like a pure quarterback, but man, I tell you, the last couple years, he's really polished his game up a lot. And he looks like he's really combining his athleticism to just being like a really good pocket passer, and honestly, even just like throwing on the run, he's been a lot better, and the numbers show. Uh, so, I mean, if anybody thinks that he is MVP, I totally get it. But I think Josh Allen, with the weapons that he has, which is really not really that great, and the fact that they've won two more games with not really a great team around him, the defense isn't that great. Uh, I got, I would probably make Josh Allen my favorite. So he's also fumbled the ball a little less. Saquon's obviously having a great year. If he, honestly, it's kind of a story, but if he gets 162 rushing yards, he'll have 2,000 yards in 16 games, which will put him in the 2,000 yard club. I mean, he'll probably be in the 2,000 yard club anyway, even if he does it in 17 games. But obviously, the standard that we've been watching the last since I've been watching football, 16 games. So if he gets hit in 16 games, that'll be more special than him getting in game 17. But I'm sure they'll still honor him if he gets 2,000 yards in 17 games. But everybody's trying to say, "Oh, the Giants messed up and they should have gave him a contract." But things would have been different if he was on the Giants. We don't have the O line to open up the holes that he's getting in Philly. And honestly, he wanted more money when he was on the Giants. He wanted $16 million a year. We offered him $13 million. He took 12 and a half for the Eagles. So I don't really buy this whole nonsense that the Giants didn't want him, weren't trying to sign him. If they would have asked for 13, if he would have been cool with the 13 million, which would have been half a million a year more than what he has now, we would have kept him. You know, unfortunately, like I said, the way they make these rules, the quarterback is more valuable than the running back. So, and Daniel Jones are like, oh, how could you sign Daniel Jones? This is why they signed Daniel Jones, because he came off a playoff win at Minnesota where he just had thrown for 300 yards with a team that had nothing around him. And they still have nothing around him, basically, except for Malik Neighbors now. And the O-line's a little bit better, but pretty much that ship has kind of sailed with him. Everybody's kind of just tired of the same old thing. So I think he'll be good with Minnesota or whoever he goes to whenever he gets his next chance. I mean, his situation won't be worse than what happened with the Giants because we never had a blocking for him, and hopefully they do better with Cam Ward or Shador or whoever they bring in because uh, we'll see. But anyway, getting back to the point before I went on my Saquon rant, I do think Josh Allen is MVP. Uh, the wins have to matter, and he has 11 wins. He has two more wins than Lamar Jackson, so I would take Josh Allen. I think he's having a great year. Okay, I think that's my last tweet. Oh no, there's a few more. Trump announces that he will work with Congress to secure the elections through watermark ballots, voter ID, and one-day voting. Okay, the Democrats are never going to go for one-day voting, watermark ballots, or voter ID. So this has to be a Republican thing, which it could be, but I don't think some of them really want that either. So this is going to be very interesting to see if he can get this passed. I sincerely doubt he will, but if he does, man, great for him because we need it. We need because I mean with the machines, the Democrats clearly cheat, and I'm sorry, I guess I have to say allegedly cheat, but I mean something is going on with these machines, and it needs to be changed. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Hopefully, Trump gets that passed. We'll see. Uh, here's my next tweet that I retweeted is a clip of Dion basically showing support for Travis. You know, it's probably been a rough couple weeks for Travis because everybody's kind of talking about him and his girl, trying to expose like old videos of him, like look, regardless of how I feel about Travis Hunter and his girl, I don't think all these people should be commenting on his love life or whatever. If he wants to marry this girl, you know, let him marry her. You know, you never know how what things can happen. I mean, maybe she is what everybody's saying she is, and then hopefully, you know, with him showing all this commitment to her, hopefully she's one of these girls that shows some loyalty and stays down for him. We'll see how it goes, man. Uh, as I said, I'm not there yet with the whole just giving up on women thing, but I am getting close. But I'm never gonna bash or discourage anybody from trying to get married or whatever. Only if I thought like somebody didn't care about the person. Um, to say that I know that she doesn't care about him, I can't say that. I don't know her. I just, like I said, I pray for him and hope for the best. If he wants to marry her, I just wish him the best. That's all I can really say about it. You know, that's his girl. Um, if there were any secrets before, obviously they're all out now, so he can make a decision. If he decides to marry her, I wish him the best, and that's pretty much it. Next tweet is by me, just commenting again on the Nuggets, man. Like I said, the Nuggets, they just don't look the same. They had amazing offensive chemistry, almost to the point where they were making up for their below average defense, but it's not the same anymore. I think teams have kind of figured out they don't have the same unpredictable magic that they had if you make Jokic more of a scorer. If you make Jokic more of a scorer, their offense looks pretty average. His magical passing, his unselfishness kind of gets people open, gets people hot. But, um, if you just play him one on one, yeah, he'll score on you, but just the team chemistry is not the same. So Um, yeah, next tweet is kind of comparing how doctors who make 175,000 a year live, and members of Congress live making 175,000, and it's a picture of a member of Congress having like a huge estate because obviously they have access to inside trading, which gets them millions of dollars instead of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's obviously a problem, and it stinks. Uh, Hopefully, they do something about that in Congress. We'll see. And then my last tweet is about how JD Vance is saying how Congress needs to go after corporations that are replacing Americans with H-1B visa workers, and that's basically corporations are trying to get like foreigners who know how to do tech work and IT work, and they want the foreigners over Americans because they can pay them less money. And obviously, that's not right. You go to college and then you get replaced by people who are, you know, outside of the country. That's not how it's supposed to go. And like I said, hopefully Trump does something about it so that uh, Americans can get these jobs so that they can start families and do things that they're supposed to be doing. I think that's about it. So yeah, it was like I said, it was a quiet day for the most part. Didn't really do much, but these things stood out. Even on a slow day, I think I still had a pretty good, pretty good material. Uh, Thank you for all the people who've been commenting on my videos that I've been putting up. I already brought up my friend Ben, but I also want to shout out Stephen Green 5865 on YouTube. We had a nice little conversation about college football playoffs. He asked me who I thought was going to win it. And man, I tell you, I don't like Ohio State, but they look really good against Tennessee, and I thought Tennessee was going to win that game. But man, if they play like that, they got the best. I thought Miami had the best receivers in the country, but no, they have the best receivers in the country. And Will Howard is good. I really think Will Howard only didn't play well against Michigan because that safety really knocked him down. He took a good shot from that Michigan safety, and I think he was kind of not into the game. That's why they were running it so much. He was kind of I don't know if he gave him a concussion, but he gave him something, and I think they were just kind of trying to save him. But he looks good now. That passing game looks good. Defense looks good. I mean, Tennessee is kind of a one-dimensional team, so Oregon's are going to be a tougher challenge. But they played them already, so they kind of know what they can do. I think Ohio State wins the rematch, and they'll probably go on a run, and Ryan Day saves his job. That's what I'm going to predict. Uh, I do think Notre Dame is going to be Alabama. Uh, that Penn State Boise State game is going to be a good game. I'm not sure who I would take in that game. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if Boise won because they should have beat Oregon. And I don't really think anybody's going to stop Ashton Genty from getting his numbers. So you know what? I'll take Boise on that one just because of that. And then Arizona State versus Texas. Man, I like the way Arizona State is playing right now. And with the issues that Texas had against the power running game against Georgia, I like Arizona State in that one too. So those will be my picks for the next round. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas won, but Arizona State, I'm gonna pick them for the upset. All right, that's pretty much it for me. So thank you guys for listening again. I appreciate y'all. Uh, Hopefully, I'll keep commenting, liking the videos, whatever I have to do to keep getting this thing going. I want to try to keep this consistent. I know I said that before, but I think I found my formula of how I want to present all this stuff on video. I want to get to the point where I can debate other people and just maybe make this more of a some sort of secondary income or whatever. But regardless if I get paid for it or not, I just like talking about these things, and I hope you guys continue to support. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, and God bless.